How are we doing this morning? Whew, I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I didn't go live. I just stayed in bed and got my little self together and went live today. How are you doing? You know how we do. As you come in the room, say hello. Grab your business bestie, your business partner, your contractor's notebook, and we're live for another edition of Contracting Chatter, where we discuss all things business and government contracting. Now, we're on the road to the 10th anniversary of LT&A Consulting Group. Yay! And I am sharing some of the things that I have learned on this 10-year journey in, in addition to my regular content. So, one of the things I've learned is when you're not feeling well, you don't push through, you rest. And that's what I did yesterday. I kept my little happy tail in bed and rest because the previous night, for some reason, I don't know what happened, but I rested. So here I am this morning sharing with you new content. So I'm going to read from you an excerpt from my book, Keys to Government Contracting, and then I'm going to delve into the talking point for this morning. Committing to the commitment. There are several reasons for entering government contracting industry: working with the largest content, stabilizing your stream of income, and the exponential increase in revenue from just winning one contract. I need to rewrite that line. Anywho, all of these reasons are excellent reasons to become contractors. However, government contracting is complex. Success in government contracting often requires a combination of practical strategies, strong relationships, and a commitment to delivering quality services or products. Companies may also need to continually adapt and improve their approach to maintain or increase their win rates. Committing to the commitment. That's just an excerpt from that one section. And what I want to talk about is growth leads to tension. Now, the title is actually comes from a sermon that my mentor and pastor gave, Pastor Darius. It's a line from his sermon, but it fit so well to title what I wanted to talk about: when you commit to the commitment. When you commit to committing to your growth, it seems, everything conspires against you, or at least it looks like it. It seems like your friends start to act funny or move differently. It seems like mentally things shift, creatively things shift, relationally things shift, physically. Things just seems to shift, and it makes it hard. And that's what tests your commitment to the commitment. Now, notice what I said. You have to be committed to the commitment, not committed to your idea. And even then, we're going to deep dive into that. Committed to the commitment is simply this: people jump on bandwagons, people jump on fads, people are easily swayed when it comes to being deterred or being persuaded one way or another. When things get difficult, because one day your business or your contracts can be flowing in, and the next day they're talking about doing a stop funding. They haven't passed the budget for this government year, and the worry and the frustration, or one of your top customers haven't signed on with you or re-signed their contract with you. That is the moment you have to recommit to the commitment. Because at that moment, you have to recognize there's another level of growth that's about to occur. And anytime that growth is getting ready to occur, you're going to experience tension. You're going to experience some type of friction in your life. And it's at those frictional moments you have to reevaluate what's going on. I know somebody is listening to me and they're saying, what does this have to do with business? It has everything to do with business. Because it's at those critical moments that you have to refocus. It's at those critical moments that you have to mentally check in. You can't check out. You have to mentally check in, because growth leads to tension. You have to check in and say, I'm committed to this commitment. You have to creatively, now for some people, tension, creativity flows. You have to check that in, because sometimes over creativity is just a lack of focus. And you have to tell yourself, some of these creative ideas I have to shelve, I can't act on. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, I need to organize these creative ideas and put them into a creative flow so that when you act on them, you don't implode your business. Growth leads to tension. And then you have to recommit yourself to the commitment so that that tension doesn't implode your business. My experience has been every level of growth breeds tension, and it's at that moment of tension you have a decision to make. And it's at that moment, and it's at that critical decision making process, you have to decide, I'm going to back up off of that point and come back to it later, because that's going to segue me to tomorrow's point. So I'm going to back up off of that. Growth leads to tension, but you have to stay committed to the commitment. We're going to stay on that point. Now, somebody's saying, Luciana, where are we experiencing this tension and what are we supposed to do about it? I'm glad you asked. Here we go. You're going to experience tension financially. All growth requires a financial commitment. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to spend money to grow. New products, new service, marketing, investment in advertising of some sort, even if it's just to put gas in the car to attend events, coaching, consulting, cards. People are going to tell you, everybody's on email. A lot of people are deleting emails from people they don't know. So old-fashioned mailing, you're going to have to spend money. So committing to that financial commitment is going to cause tension, because that redirected dollars even though there's going to be a growth in revenue down the line, intermittently, you're redirecting money somewhere else. That's tension, but you have to be committed to the commitment. Spiritually, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about spiritual. Yes, spiritually, you have to be girded up. You have to stay prayed up. Now, I'm a believer. If you're not, that's between you and you. You have to stay prayed up because you have to have a source that takes you through this. Because if you're not spiritually grounded to get through all of this, you're going to find yourself in a spin that you can't get out of. And staying spiritually grounded will help keep you mentally grounded. Because I'm going to tell you, there are times where you're going to want to throw in the towel. And as I've had this conversation last night with somebody, when you reflect on the story of Job, he had someone in his friend circle who was able to snap him out of it. Now, Job was a strong man, and he checked people who told him, no, he checked them. He checked them. Now, he was the one going through the struggle. And he checked people who told him some of the most ridiculous stuff. But there are times that you need people to check you, which is where the relational tensions come in. There are people who are going to tell you you're doing something wrong, who are not walking in your shoes. Learn wise counsel in a wise voice. When people aren't walking in your shoes, you shouldn't take advice from them. If they're not doing business, why are you taking advice from them? Hello. Somebody working a 9 to 5 cannot instruct you, a business owner, because they're viewing it from a different perspective. So you have to commit to the commitment that a 9 to 5er cannot advise you. I don't care how much they love you. They go in and punch a clock, and it is no disrespect to a 9 to 5er, because guess what? You employ 9 to 5ers, but they view the world differently from somebody who is running a business. So they can't advise you. So you have to commit to the commitment of relational intention. Creatives. I love my creatives. I really do. But there are times your creative flows need to be honed in and focused. Sometimes your creative flows are distractions. And the tension of your growth, you run to your creative flows to hide from the growth. I'm going to say that again. I love my creatives, but at moments of tension, your creative floodgates open as a protective mechanism to distract you from another area that you need to focus in on. I'm telling you. Now, I'm not telling you to ignore the creative flow, but I'm telling you to look and focus into another area, that there's another area you need to focus in on. Focus in on that area. There's another area you're ignoring. Focus in on that area. That creative flow, don't stop it. Write those ideas down somewhere and store it. But there's another area you're ignoring. That creative flow, focus it in. Write them ideas down. But there's an area of tension you're ignoring. And if you continue to ignore that area of tension, you're going to stunt your growth. Physically, we all need to work on our physicality. Now, I'm sitting here overweight. You can see me, but I've lost some weight. And I'm continuing on my weight loss journey. So you have to be physically fit to go through this entrepreneurial journey. And for all of you saying, oh my gosh, she's talking about physical fitness. Yes, I am. And I am transparent. I am on my weight loss journey. I only have two chins instead of the four that I was sporting. Go back and look at some of my older videos. In my health journey, I'm actually going to share that. However, it all plays into the part of building a sustainable business. Love the body you're in, but love yourself enough to better it. I'm going to say that again. Love the body you're in, but love it enough to better it, however that looks. And that will lead to you building a better business. Growth leads to tension. And a lot of times, and I'm going to share the story of when I came to the realization I was hiding behind my weight was a mechanism I used to hide. But that's another story for another day. I'm going to share that journey. So as I commit to the commitment of building the business, and as you commit to the commitment of building the business, increasing your revenues, increasing your marketing, increasing focus on the areas in your business that need to be focused in, it will create tension because all growth leads to tension in some area in your life. Understand that's just a part of the process. Understand that comes par for the course. And understand if you run from the tension, you hinder your growth. It is what it is. You can't build a business running from tension. And what you will also find is tension precedes growth. It's not necessary growth comes, then comes the tension. No, tension comes prior to the growth. So what I've come to find when I run into obstacles, when I run into tension, I know I'm getting ready to hit a growth spurt. This is all a part of business. And it's something that is not talked about enough. And it's all a part of the preparation for starting a business. It's not talked about enough in the entrepreneurial journey. So everybody thinks I'm going to just jump up and start a business and it's peaches and creams. And it's something that my pastor mentor talks about, and my pastor mentor is the same person. And when he talks about um, getting married, and he spoke about this from the male perspective, but I really think about women need to think about this as well. You know, you talk about you want this type of man, but do you understand what comes with that type of man? And are you ready for what comes with that? That's all a part of building a business. You are a woman who owns a business. Do you know what type of man is required to be married to a woman who owns a business? And if you don't want a man who owns a business because you're both busy, then do you know the criteria of a man who is married, who has a 9 to 5, married to a woman who owns a business? It's all par for the course. Committing to the commitment of running a business, its meanings. Committing to the commitment of running a business is understanding that tension, growth leads to tension, and tension precedes growth. It goes hand in hand. You can't avoid it. And he shared something last night in our mentor group. I need to sit down and marinate with it, and I'm gonna bring it to us next later on in the week, or probably next week. About, and he's talked about it before, and I've talked about it before, and I may just do a replay. You know, TikTok, I'm gonna have to figure out how to stream the TikTok because some of my replays you can't get, so I always have to do live with TikTok, and that's okay. I'm gonna figure out how to bring y'all into the family so you can get some of my restreams. Asking the right questions will always lead you to the right answer, But a lot of times you're receiving the wrong answers because your questions aren't focused in. That's a part of committing to the commitment. You have to be committed to continually asking the right questions. And somebody is saying, how do you determine the question is the right question? Because you know the answer you're getting isn't the right answer. If the tension is still there, the answer wasn't the right answer. And I'm not saying you throw away the answers you received. I always say every piece of information is a piece of information you need to store. Whether or not you use it at that point in time, no. And that's what goes around in business. And this is another lesson that I've learned. You don't necessarily implement every piece of information you receive at that period of time because it's not important at that period of time, or you can't use it at that point in time. I was learning millionaire tactics when I first started. And I was trying to implement millionaire tactics when I first started, but I did not have a millionaire pipeline. So I was digging a hole and I didn't understand why. I understand it now. But you know what? I made millionaire mistakes in the beginning. So now, now I understand a whole lot. I made mistakes in the beginning that when you understand walking in purpose, I was supposed to make those mistakes. However, now I can pull from that information and properly implement them. So you're learning things. You're in my room. It's not by accident, it's by design. Because you're committed to the commitment of learning and implementing. I don't want y'all to forget that, of learning and implementing. You're committed to the commitment of learning and implementing that growth leads to tension in every aspect of your life when you commit to the commitment and learning the tools that you're supposed to learn. And you know what the tools are? You face it head on. You understand that every layer or every step of growth breeds tension, and you understand how to do it and how to address it. You know how do you and the way to address it is focus. The way to address it is to seek help. The answer to who is never you. Hold on. The answer to who is not always you. You are the CEO of your operations, not the chief everything officer, the chief executive officer. You are not meant to run your business by yourself. And I'm going to tell you, for those of you just starting out, if you learn that lesson now and implement it now, it will save you heartache and money. But if you insist on this mindset of I don't have the money, you will just spend more money. If you learn it now, you will have a quantum leap in your business. Don't make they say success have clues, pick up that clue. Don't do it. Do not try to freebie your business. Business Insider says in order to grow your business, you will spend $85,000 over the course of 3 years in order to grow your business. You know why businesses fail? Because they don't invest at the right time. Because of this mindset. Growth leads to tension because they don't commit to the commitment. And part of that commitment is understanding that there's a financial commitment. And during that financial commitment, that initial investment, there is a period of time that the tension grows because the initial investment, you don't see the return. And that leads to tension in your relationships, You know, your families are looking at you cross-eyed. Some of your creditors may be looking at you cross-eyed. You may take a credit hit initially if you're running a business and you're bootstrapping it. Hello. But eventually, you're going to see a return if you commit the time to make that financial investment work. You have to commit to the commitment. You see where I'm going? And I know people are saying you're being redundant, but redundancy, repetitiveness is the hallmark of education. And you will hear this again. So I'm going to close out by rereading this segment in my book, From Keys to Government Contracting, Committing to the Commitment. There are several reasons for entering government contracting industry. Working with the largest client, stable stream of income, exponential increase in revenue from one contract. All of these reasons are excellent reasons to become contractors. However, government contracting is complex. Success in government contracting often requires a combination of practical strategies, strong relationships, and a commitment to delivering quality services or products. Companies may also need to continually adapt and improve their approach to maintain or increase their win rates. Matter of fact, I'm going to read out the rest of the section. Everyone needs to ask themselves a question when they start the process. Are you committed? It's a simple question. Commitment involves a willingness to stick to a chosen path, even when faced with challenges or temptation to give up. In government contracting, there exists cancel requests from government, impending shutdowns, work stoppages, proposal losses, and more. All of these are time consuming and frustrating. Reviewing the commitment and the company's development will keep the focus during these times. Now, I'm currently rewriting this book because there are so many things that I'm going to add in that I left out. But I'm going to close out this morning's segment of Contracting Chatter with this question to you. And I want you to think about it. Think of it as a homework assignment. Are you committed to the commitment? This is simple. Simple question. Are you committed to the commitment? And with that, I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another installment of Contracting Chatter. I'm your host, Luciana Turner, and I'll see you tomorrow.